on the channel, the 40th anniversary of E.T. is here, and in honor, we're unboxing the NECA Ultimate Edition E.T.
The spirit of Olympian warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another NECA unboxing and review. And today we've got something special. Yeah, sure, why not? We've got E.T., the Ultimate Edition from NECA. But for all your NECA E.T. needs and a whole lot more, make sure you're hitting up Entertainment Earth. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. Anything over $39 does ship free. And I just recently did a big Entertainment Earth order, and I threw old E.T. in the pile. And you guys see me in my toy hunts every single Friday on the channel. We do action figure hunts. I've been looking at these different E.T. figures, and I felt like I needed one representation of E.T. There's no way I'm buying all the different E.T.s out there. And I did settle on this one. It was a little bit cheaper. There was another one that was a really good Ultimate one, but it was a little bit more expensive. I believe it had some batteries in it. It glows, things like that. I said, I don't need all those bells and whistles. I'll get the plain Jane Ultimate E.T. for my collection. I'm going to put it on a little bit of a miscellaneous shelf there. And of course, I'm of a generation that knew all about E.T. I think everybody does at this point. But I remember, and it's one of my earliest memories, or maybe I'm wrong, I need to verify this with my dad, but I believe I went to E.T. at the movie theater. I was like 1 or 2 years old probably, who knows, but I think I saw that. It might have been the first movie I ever saw at the theater. I remember E.T., of course, throughout my childhood being on TV all the time, things like that. And honestly, I gotta tell you, E.T. I really loved, but it seems like every year that goes on in my life, I like E.T. less. Is that a weird thing? But it was a big deal back in the day, of course, for a whole generation. But now he doesn't hold a candle to some of my favorite alien creatures. And of course, E.T. being an alien creature, as we all know, he is an extraterrestrial after all. I did learn in Spanish in 8th grade that E.T. in Spanish is a te. So stay tuned for more Spanish knowledge dropped on this very channel. Make sure you do subscribe. But of course, we're going to do this review like we do all the other ones here on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there, and do a little bit of alien comparisons later on in this very video, so stay tuned for that as well. But we got old E.T. in the very familiar NECA box here. If you don't want to buy them at Entertainment Earth, I think Walmart's, Target's probably have plenty of E.T. figures. There's a lot of different ones for the 40th anniversary, of course. Big picture of E.T. right up front, or like I said, a te for those that are in Spain or Spanish or Mexico or wherever you want to be speaking Spanish. Looking really good. 40th anniversary. There he is in his beautiful robe. Fresh out of the shower, real clean, ready to take on the world. Old E.T. right there. On the side, the very iconic one, of course, the bicycle flying over the moon. We all remember that one. There's even, I think, a figure that represents that as part of this line as well. And then you got it on the back. Got a little bit of blurbage down there. You guys know me. I love a good blurb. We got E.T. up at the top there. Let's see what it says about old E.T. Bring the magic and excitement of E.T. the extraterrestrial into your world. As your friendship with E.T. grows, relive all of his earthly encounters or look to the stars and create your own unforgettable interactive adventures. With E.T., the possibilities are endless. And I remember as a kid I had like a little like stuffed animal of E.T., but it was like kind of like a vinyl, kind of like pleather type feeling. It definitely wasn't like a traditional stuffed animal. It felt a little bit strange, but I had that for many years. I remember I had a wind-up toy of E.T. too that was a little like 3-inch plastic toy, kind of like an action figure that was a wind-up toy. And I remember having that in some of my collections, things like that. So I dabbled in a little bit of E.T. And there's one thing that I'll always remember from E.T., and we'll talk about that here very, very shortly. Of course, forgot the big window box, all that kind of stuff. We've seen that before, but looking really good there. E.T. off to the races. See you later. Goodbye. And then there's old E.T. Ultimate Edition, and we're losing things left and right, but we got the old plastic prison right there for E.T. Some interesting different accessories with this one, and we'll dive through all those as we always do here, of course. Ooh, I was thinking that was going to be a soft goods robe. It was not. Got extra hands with E.T. as well. See you later. Goodbye. Oh, it looks like we got clipped in here. He's clipped in at the neck. Poor E.T. He's seen better days. It was a sad story. There was a lot of tears in E.T., of course. E.T., he just wanted to phone home. That's all he wanted to do. He just wanted to get back to his home world. He was having his fun. And then we had many more alien movies that were kind of very similar. Anybody remember Mac and Me? I think I've seen Mac and Me more than E.T., and that just tells you about my whole life as far as movies go. Mac and Me was absolutely god-awful. God-awful movie. But I saw it many a times over the years. See you later, E.T. packaging. Twist ties, all that off to the side. And let's get down to it. Let's dive through this E.T. Man, what a scary-looking creature E.T. is after all these years. I don't know how you didn't give more kids nightmares. And I'm sure some kids did get nightmares from E.T. I'd have to imagine they would have. But we do get extra hands with E.T. right here. We got all that going on. So he does got 2 splayed out hands stock on there. Then we do get a gripping hand. Then we get a little bit of a curled hand here. He's got some long, really creepy ricochet-like fingers here from if you're familiar with my wrestling unboxings. Very, very long fingers. And he does have 4 fingers, not the traditional 5 like a human has. So E.T. very interesting. It looks like he's been in the bathtub too long. Got some wrinkly hands as well. But very, very interesting between all that. Then we do get the robe. I guess we'll call this a robe for E.T. here. Very interesting. Once again, it does pull together like so. You put it around him. It does plug together. Very Polly Pocket style. But he gets out of the shower. He puts this on. Of course, he can hide with this thing as well. But we do get that. That's a nice little touch. And like I said, this is the regular Ultimate Edition. There's a more Ultimate one that has some glow-in-the-dark stuff, batteries it takes, things like that. So if you're looking for a more deluxe ET, that is the place to go. We do get the old potted plant here. This is one of those ones that's great. You can put this with your NECA Ninja Turtles. You can put this with other toy lines if you really wanted to. It's just a potted plant. Of course, ET can help it grow. If it's dying, he can put his little finger in there, do that little light-up finger gimmick thing he has. I don't know how he does it. It's magic. It's space magic from an alien is what that is. Then you do get the Speak and Spell, really a dying thing. It was all the rage as a kid. I never owned a Speak and Spell, but obviously you go to friends' houses, there would be one all the time. And it was usually a little bit younger. I think this was maybe very early 80s, late 70s. Speak and Spell was really at its dominance probably. It did die out over time, but it was a Speak and Spell. It was a great learning aid. I believe it was probably Texas Instruments. They got a little Texas logo down here too. It looks really cool here. It does say XWVURFP. Did he do that in the movie? Am I dreaming that? I'm not exactly sure, but very, very cool Speak and Spell. Throwback to a prior generation in a lot of ways here, the old Speak and Spell. And then the best accessory here with E.T., and to this day, this is one of my absolute favorite candies. I think many kids watching E.T. back in the day were salivating at the Reese's Pieces up on the screen. I absolutely love Reese's Pieces. And I don't know about you guys, Hershey's, you better listen in. You better listen in close because Reese's peanut butter cups are absolutely hot garbage these days. I don't know what the heck's going on with those. They just don't have the taste anymore. The peanut butter isn't as good. The chocolate isn't as good as it used to be. It's just totally fallen off the rails. And I remember as a kid being, trick-or-treating and stuff, you'd have the greatest Reese's peanut butter cups are at the house down here. You got to go there because they were so good back in the day. But like a lot of things, they've cheapened out. The chocolate isn't as good as it used to be. The peanut butter's not as good as it used to be. It's absolutely god-awful. Hershey's, look yourself in the mirror. You should be ashamed of yourself. Reese's peanut butter cups, let's get those back to the old school way of doing things. Stop putting potato chips in them and Reese's Puffs in them. Let's just get back to what brought you to the dance. Let's get back there, Reese's peanut butter cups, and let's get that done in 2023. But I will say Reese's Pieces, still as good as ever. Never let you down. Absolutely fabulous. Absolutely love Reese's Pieces. Give me all the Reese's Pieces. Could be one of my top 5 candy bars, candies, whatever you want to call them. And I love that we do get these represented here. It does not say Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, Reese's Pieces on here, anything like that, because obviously they can't do that for legal reasons. They don't want to pay the money. But it is very iconic, of course, to the movie. And I have to think that skyrocketed Reese's Pieces sales for years to come in the old E.T. movie. Now we get down to E.T. himself, one of the most favorite aliens in the world, I guess we'll call him here. And let's walk through his articulation. You do got a head that goes all the way around. He's got that big neck articulation, and then you can have head articulation as well. And then the head does this, apparently just falls right off very easily there, but pops in just as easy as well. But you get all kinds of different head movements there to give a little different personalities to E.T. Arms go all the way around. You got big skeleton-like long arms, very, very creepy. He does got some of that going on. There's no waist articulation. He's pretty much just a hard piece of plastic in the middle. You do got elbows right there. You got the movement there. The hands removable, hands side to side, back and forth, of course. Got a little bit of articulation down there in the feet, but at the end of the day, just pretty much a big glob of plastic here outside of the arms and head. Very creepy looking. Once again, this is nightmare fuel for a lot of kids. I don't know how more kids didn't have hardcore nightmares back in the day. It's got a very creepy kind of belly going on and like skeleton ribs going on there. I mean, he's got a heart of gold. He loved Elliot. We all know that. But boy, he is creepy after all these years. And, you know, aliens were all the rage back then. Aliens are all the rage right now. Everybody loves aliens these days, you know, unless you go watch Independence Day or something. Then you got to fight the aliens. We know how that goes as well. And Predator, of course. And aliens. It goes on and on. There's a lot of alien stuff. But E.T. looks good. I mean, there's not a lot to this, though, honestly. I mean, it's brown. You got one color throughout. He does have those beautiful blue eyes, just like me. You just stare into those eyes, just lose yourself. You lose a sense of space and time looking deep into E.T.'s eyes. He's got a bit of a smile going on. He's got the nose. He's got the big eyebrows. Got the football-like head on E.T. here. It just really is E.T. in plastic form. It's not a bad thing. It kind of is what it is. It's E.T. He does got peg holes on the bottom. Does that mean he's going to fit on a ringside collectible stand? Use discount code Kyle, save yourself 10%, get a Mattel stand, and ET fits perfectly on there. But that being said, you really don't need one. He's got a pretty good base going on right there. But man, he's got some long, long limbs here. I'm probably not going to be displaying him with this robe. I can tell you that right now. I don't think of E.T. I think of E.T. naked. I don't think of him with clothes on or robes on at all. But he's definitely going to have the Reese's Pieces. He'll probably have the Speak and Spell with him. That's probably how I'm going to display him. But where am I going to display him? He's going to be on a bit of a miscellaneous shelf, I think is what I'm going to do. And we're going to put him against some of the other greatest aliens of the 1980s, of course. Can't go too much far about old Gizmo from Gremlins, of course. All day long, everybody loved Gizmo. Everybody wanted Gizmo in their house. I remember just telling my parents as a kid, man, we need to get me a Mogwai. I promise I won't feed it after midnight. My bedtime's 8 o'clock. I won't even be able to have that option. I won't get him wet. I won't bathe or shower or go to the pool anymore. Whatever we got to do to get me a Mogwai never happened, unfortunately. But very cool. Of course, this is another NECA property. And then speaking of the latest and greatest from NECA, we got my man Alf. Does it get cooler? If any extraterrestrial was going to come live with me, it would be Alf. Alf and I would just have the life. We would. He'd be part of these reviews. He'd come on all the time. We'd sit on the couch, watch shows. We'd eat some cats. Maybe he could get me interested in some of that sweet, sweet cat meat. Who knows? Who knows? I'm all in on some Alf. I love this Alf figure. This is probably going to be one of the best figures of 2023. Can't really say the same thing about E.T. Maybe my love of E.T. has waned over the years, like I did say earlier. It feels like every single year that goes on, I like E.T. less. I like the movie less. I like the character less. But it still was a big part of the 80s generation. It was one of the first, if not the very first movie I ever saw. So it does have a little special place there. But E.T. just doesn't hold a candle to Alf or Gizmo, at least to me. And if I'm having all three of these guys here, I'm going Alf first, just by a hair, no pun intended. Then I'm going Gizmo, then I'm going to E.T. But what say you? If you had to list these three in order, you got to be going the same way, right? I could see these two maybe flip-flopping, but I got to think E.T. is going to be last place. But you never know. Some people do love E.T. Some people would love that magical guy. They'd love him and his healing powers. They'd love to go on a bike ride with him. Who knows? E.T. very, very popular. All three of these guys are popular in their own ways, but only two of them are hairy bipedal creatures, and that's what steals my heart at the end of the day. But what steals your heart at the end of the day outside of my toy reviews? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, you made it this far, you might as well like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to this very YouTube channel. As you guys know, we got videos every single day. Even more content for you and early access to videos like this, Q&As, giveaways, you name it. A lot going on over on the Patreon channel. And best of all, like I said, it does support this channel. You can also support the channel at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. And then don't forget to follow along and to subscribe over there on social media. SirPaul64 is where you'll find me on Twitter. Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for A-Tay, I'm KP, and I'll see you guys all real soon.